are diving in on our focal point of every kitchen and giving it a fresh new facelift, the island. It's usually the standout piece of every kitchen, and designers say it's the key to a well-designed space. But it's relatively small, so it is surprising that it could be a good place to start if you want to keep your kitchen looking current. Megan Masovic, Kay, you are telling us what we need to do with this island. And first off, this isn't just, hey, we're going to redo our islands here. This is a big trend that we're seeing on redoing your kitchen. It starts with the island.
Totally. So here's the deal. So many people want, okay, we're seeing all these kitchens on Pinterest, magazines, and we're drooling and we want them. And a lot of times when people hire a designer, we always say, you know what, wait till you can do it right. Don't do your kitchen until we can do it right. Because if you really go down to it, I might knock out some walls, make the windows bigger, and the budget's gonna go skyrocketing. I've got plenty of people that are like, yeah, it's never gonna be the right. I've got kids in college, or my husband went back to school, something that I'm going, yeah, you're right, you just gotta love your kitchen now. So what's great about today's trends is the kitchen island is really starting to be a furniture piece, so you don't have to match it up. You could redo your kitchen island, not worry about the rest of your cabinets, and have a new looking kitchen.
See, and that's relieving for me, because I'm one of those, I want it all done or nothing. But it's nice to know that you can take it piece by piece and still make it look good. So where do we start?
Okay, so with that kitchen island, there's a few things you can do. One is you could even do overhead lighting on it. Now what lighting does, everyone's like, do I need the lighting on the pendant? You know, it anchors that island. The island right now is kind of a floating piece in your kitchen where lights above it will anchor it. Not to mention, it's kind of a mood setting to always have lighting. It brightens everything.
And we're seeing in these pictures, I mean, all different kinds of lighting. You don't have to do the staple type of light hanging down.
Absolutely not. Or two, if you're, for those DIY people out there, get a light fixture that's either an old one or something on eBay, and paint it. People are doing the funnest stuff right now, but adding a light fixture is going to be huge change in your kitchen.
Okay, so when we're looking at the island itself now, how do we kind of navigate around that and deciding where to start fixing or replacing?
Right, a lot of times it has to do with the space of your kitchen. Sometimes the island is not necessarily structured or put in the space to its best advantage. You're like, okay, I'm already putting my food here to serve off of, but then I still need a prep area. Well, if you have the room, extend your island out by just adding a few little legs to it and then redoing your countertop. You can work in a seating area, you can work in a prep area, you can work in a cutting board area, but to fill that space, you could extend the kitchen.
I love that idea. Okay, now looking at coloring, how do we know what color is gonna, if we're not redoing the whole kitchen at once, how do we know what color is gonna go with the cabinets we're leaving?
Exactly, so really good, that's a really good question, because a lot of times we'll see a really cute color on Pinterest or wherever we're getting our ideas, but that doesn't necessarily work with our own kitchen. Go get those big paint swatches and hold them up to your other cabinetry and what you have existing, and what kind of pops off there is a color you can work with. Trends right now are the blues, the teals, green is really, really hot right now. But even if you want your kitchen to look a little bit more brighter, you can go with just go with the white if you have your dark cabinets. Or if you kind of want your kitchen to look a little larger, black can recede. So paint your island black or a really dark graphite gray. There's a lot of different areas, but paint is cheap. I mean, it's an instant makeover, and if you want to hire painters, call them and say, do you like to do cabinetry? If not, Google it. There's so many tips on how to do it the right way so it keeps that furniture feel.
Now, what about the architecture of the island itself? I mean, do we need to be replacing parts on it? I mean, adding on, we talked about adding in, you know, the seating area, but what about replacing just the fundamentals of it?
Some of our islands are really boring out there. Like, I don't know, we just went through a trend where we just weren't doing anything great with them.
Like mine.
So get some trim out there. You can hire a finished carpenter, you can hire a cabinet shop to do it, but you can add some pieces to your island. You can add your beadboard, you can add metal to it, you can add any kind of trim. You can make patterns, you can do whatever. In fact, I have a girlfriend that's a designer, and she was wanting to do her kitchen island. She kept waiting for just the right thing. Well, we actually went on a trip together. She walks into this fabulous hotel lobby. She saw the check-in counter, and she was like, that pattern, that's what I want on my island. She took a picture, and it turned out great. And I sometimes use like furniture pieces. I found this great table one time, and it had this amazing brass at the bottom of it. And I was like, I want to see that on an island. And so we did it, and it turned out so fun. But there's all sorts of ways that you can, so if you're do-it-yourselfer, there's some tricks online, but there's some great finished carpenters out there. Utah's got a lot of talent, and these people will help you.
Okay, now moving from the carpentry to the countertop. How do we change, or can we change the top of the counter without all of the rest of the tops of the counter?
Okay.
That's always the big question.
It's a big question. Because we're going back to that rule that the island's a separate piece of furniture, it doesn't have to match. So that also plays off with our counter space. One trick is, like, a lot of people have a really wild, maybe dated granite, but they paid a fortune for it, and their husbands are like, yeah, right, you're ripping that up. So we'll take the island and just do like a solid on it, whether we do like a black or a nice neutral gray or a less veiny stone, then that really can just kind of play off of it and tone down. And then the granite actually doesn't look so busy, and it really shows as a statement stone. Another thing that we do in kitchens are, if you do want to go and replace all your countertops, an island is a great place for that expensive statement stone. That's that when you go to a slab yard and you see this one stone and your eyes just get really big, and then you hear the price and you're like, oh. Do it on the island. It can be a lot smaller, and then you can do something more neutral in the back of the rest of the cabinetry. So also adding wood to an island.
I was going to say, I love the wood look on the island as well.
I love it. And so it's really great. It looks great with those busy granites too, that from maybe some kitchens that people feel might be dated. The wood looks beautiful and adds warmth to a kitchen, which is always makes it more cozy.
Another big thing is the open shelving that I'm seeing, not putting cupboard doors on everything.
Exactly. So such an easy way, because the less drawers you put in something, if you're hiring cabinet guys, and the less cupboards, well, that's material they're not having to necessarily use. So it's kind of also, it's a good statement, it's a good look, but it can be very budget friendly.
Okay, and quickly, where can we find more from you?
Okay, go onto my website, is Megan Ray Interiors, or you can follow me on Instagram at Megan Ray Interiors.
Megan, we love having you on. Thanks for the great skills. Now I got to go home and take a look at my island. Thanks for being with us.